A Toyota Camry sells in 22 days. A Honda CR-V sells in about 19 days. That's how fast those move off a dealer lot. The Volkswagen ID.4 takes 527 days. That's a year and a half sitting on a lot, baking in the sun, collecting dust, depreciating every single day. And the ID.4 isn't alone. There are 15 cars right now with over 300 days of supply, and the reasons they are not selling should matter to anyone shopping for a new car in 2026. The cars with the biggest discounts are almost always the cars with the biggest problems. Let's get into it. Starting at number 15 is the all-new 2025 Nissan Murano. And this one stings because Nissan put a lot of resources into this redesign. Fresh platform, new interior, updated tech. On paper, this should have been a comeback moment for the brand. More than 20,000 units are sitting unsold with a 234-day supply. Nissan massively overproduced for a brand whose US market share has slipped to just 5.4%. Global sales have dropped 42% since 2017, and the company posted a loss of $4.5 billion in fiscal 2024. Even a redesigned vehicle cannot overcome a brand trust problem. Dealers are already calling Nissan's new incentive program one of the most damaging in the company's history. That should tell you everything, but wait until you see what Nissan's luxury brand is doing. We will get there. Number 14 is a surprise for a lot of people. The Porsche Taycan is sitting at 229 days supply with nearly 2,000 units unsold. This was supposed to be the car that proved luxury electric vehicles could compete with Tesla. And for a while it did. But the electric vehicle tax credit expired in September 2025. And the Taycan did not qualify for it anyway because of where it is manufactured. Combine that with range numbers that now lag behind competitors, and you have a six-figure Porsche that buyers are second-guessing. Porsche never had to discount their cars. Now the Taycan is sitting. That is a brand identity problem, not just an inventory problem. At number 13, the Kia EV6 had one of the worst quarterly collapses we have seen in the electric vehicle space. Second quarter 2025 sales dropped 69% year over year. That is not a typo. Kia is now offering $11,000 in consumer rebates on the EV6 and the Niro EV just to move metal. That $11,000 rebate tells you exactly how much trouble they are in because you do not give away that kind of money on a car that is selling well. The EV6 is actually a solid vehicle in a vacuum. It has good range, fast charging, and a nice interior. But after the tax credit died, buyers realized they were paying $50,000 for a Kia when a comparable Tesla Model Y costs less. That math problem is not going away. If you think Kia is discounting aggressively, just wait until we get to what some luxury brands are giving away. The numbers are staggering. Number 12, the Land Rover Discovery is sitting at 216 days. Only 347 were sold in a 45-day tracking window, with over 1,600 units sitting. The Discovery's problem is simple. It has not had a meaningful redesign since 2017. In a segment where the competition refreshes every 3 to 4 years, that is an eternity. Buyers cross-shop it against the BMW X5, the Audi Q7, and the Genesis G580, all of which are newer, more loaded with technology, and in some cases cheaper. When your competition is lapping you on product freshness, no amount of off-road heritage saves you on a dealer lot. Number 11, the Audi Q4 e-tron has been on dealer lots for 271 days. Over 2,500 units are sitting, and only 533 were sold in a 45-day period. Here is the Audi EV problem in a nutshell. Five-figure discounts have become the norm across their electric lineup, according to industry analysts. The e-tron GT was seeing $25,000 off MSRP. When buyers know that kind of discounting is standard, nobody pays the sticker price. And that creates a vicious cycle where every month the car does not sell, dealers have to cut the price even more. Audi actually has 3 models on slowest selling lists right now. We will see the other 2 later, and they are even worse. At number 10, the Dodge Hornet at 266 days. This one is a case study in what happens when a car company loses the plot entirely. The Hornet is a rebadged Alfa Romeo Tonale. Let that land for a second. Dodge, the muscle car brand that built its identity on Hellcats and Hemis, tried to sell a compact Italian crossover with a Dodge badge on it. The market's response was brutal. Sales plunged 54% in 2024, then collapsed another 82% in Q4 alone. Over 82% of the 2024 plug-in hybrid Hornets are still sitting on lots as of December 2025. The industry average for prior year leftover inventory is 0.4%. Dodge is at 82%. Stellantis killed the model. There will be no 2026 production. They are offering $10,000 in bonus cash to clear the remaining 179 units. That is how badly this went. But the Hornet is just the beginning of the Stellantis disaster. 4 more of their vehicles are coming up on this list, and they somehow get worse. Number 9, the Alfa Romeo Giulia at 254 days. This is a car that enthusiasts genuinely love. Great driving dynamics, gorgeous design, and one of the best feeling steering setups in the segment. None of that matters when your brand sells 5,652 vehicles in an entire year. That's not a monthly number. That's the full year 2025, down 36%. To put that in perspective, Toyota sells more Camrys in 2 weeks. The Giulia's problem is brand viability. Buyers worry about resale, parts availability, and dealer network. When you can get a BMW 3 Series or a Genesis G70 with fewer ownership headaches, the Giulia becomes a passion purchase that fewer people are willing to make. Number 8, the Nissan Leaf, at 346 days. And here the story turns from slow seller to death spiral. In the third quarter of 2025, sales crashed 84% year over year. The Leaf was a pioneer. It was one of the first mainstream electric vehicles on the road. But the market passed it by completely. Limited range, dated technology, and a K-Demo charging port that is incompatible with the CCS network most public chargers now use. Add in the loss of a $7,500 tax credit, and there is almost no reason for a buyer to choose a Leaf over a Chevy Equinox electric vehicle, a Hyundai Ioniq 5, or even a base Model 3. The Leaf was a trailblazer, but trailblazers do not always survive the trail. Number 7, the Maserati Grecale, has a 302-day supply glut. Only 107 to 119 units moved in a 45-day window, with nearly 900 sitting on dealer lots. This is an $80,000 compact SUV from a brand that lost 48% of its US sales in the first quarter of 2025 alone. Maserati is caught in no man's land. It is too expensive to compete with the BMW X3 or the Porsche Macan on volume. And it is not exclusive enough to justify a price premium over those vehicles. When your day's supply crosses 300, you are not selling a luxury product anymore. You are a clearance item with a Trident badge. And here is where this list gets really wild. The next 6 cars are sitting even longer, and the discounts are even crazier. Number 6, and now we're into the 400-day club. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer has 400 days of supply. The average transaction price for this vehicle is $92,497. The Autopian reported dealers cutting $38,000 per unit just to move them. You can buy a brand new full-size luxury SUV from Jeep for less than a loaded Honda Pilot. Jeep's overall inventory crisis is severe. Over 70% of the 2024 Grand Cherokees were still unsold in December 2025. Across the Jeep brand, they were running at 130 days supply, nearly double the industry average. Cox Automotive flagged Chrysler's parent brands as the most overstocked in the market. The Grand Wagoneer is the crown jewel of Stellantis' pricing arrogance. They priced this Jeep like a Range Rover, and they forgot that people cross-shopping Range Rovers are unlikely to walk into a Jeep dealership. Number 5, the Subaru Solterra at 411 days. And this one breaks my heart a little because Subaru has such a loyal fan base. The Solterra is a twin of the Toyota BZ4X, and it shares the same fundamental problem. Mediocre range, mediocre charging speed, and a price that only made sense when the $7,500 federal tax credit was covering the gap. When that credit expired in September 2025, the Solterra's value proposition collapsed overnight. Toyota is dumping the BZ4X with $17,250 off the 2024 model. Subaru does not have that kind of cash to throw around, so the Solterra just sits. Number 4 is the Audi A6 at 409 days supply. Over 3,100 units are sitting, with only 351 selling every 45 days. The A6 is getting squeezed from two directions. First, the mid-size luxury sedan segment itself shrank to just 4.5% of market share in 2025, down from 5.3% the year before. Sedans now account for only 17% of the total US market. Buyers are choosing SUVs, and the math is brutal. Second, Audi is replacing the A6 with the all-electric A6 e-tron. So the current gas model is a dead man walking. Dealers know it, buyers know it, and nobody wants to buy the last version of anything when the replacement is already announced. The Audi S6 is actually worse at 482 days. We kept it off the main 15 because it is such a low-volume niche car. Only 61 sold in 45 days, but it tells the same story. Number 3, the Maserati Levante at 410 days. Only 66 sales per 45-day tracking period, with over 600 units collecting dust. The Levante has been on the slow seller list for years at this point. It is based on aging Maserati architecture, it lacks the tech and refinement of competitors half its price, and the depreciation is savage. You are looking at 50% or more value loss within 3 years. Maserati's entire US operation is in crisis. The brand sold just a few thousand total units in 2025. For context, that is about what a single busy Toyota dealer does in a year. At some point, you have to ask whether Maserati has a future in this market at all. Number 2, the Dodge Charger at 446 days. And this one is complicated because there are 2 Chargers right now and neither is selling. The new Charger Daytona EV was supposed to be the future of the brand. Dodge hyped it for years. An electric muscle car that would redefine the segment. It sold 1,947 units in the first quarter of 2025, despite $12,750 in cash incentives. For comparison, Ford sold over 20,000 Mustangs in the same period. Meanwhile, over 20% of 2024 gas-powered Chargers are still unsold, heading into 2026. Dodge's total brand sales fell 28% in 2025 to just 101,927 units. The Charger name used to mean something in American car culture. It was the car from Bullitt, from the Dukes of Hazzard, from every car meet parking lot in America. And Stellantis managed to take one of the most iconic nameplates in automotive history and turn it into a car that nobody wants to buy. The electric version alienated the muscle car crowd, and the pricing alienated everyone else. Stellantis posted a $2.7 billion loss in the first half of 2025. Their US market share dropped to 7.7%, the lowest since the Great Recession. The Charger is the symbol of everything that went wrong, but there is one car that has been sitting even longer. Number 1, the Volkswagen ID.4. At 527 days of market supply. It is the slowest selling new car in America, 2 months running. CarEdge reported that an ID.4 sitting on a dealer lot today may not find a buyer until 2027. Think about that. A 2025 model year vehicle that might still be unsold when 2028 models start arriving. What happened here? Volkswagen bet everything on the ID.4 as their mainstream electric vehicle for America. They built a factory in Chattanooga specifically for it. But the car launched with software glitches, mediocre range compared to competitors, and a starting price that only worked when $7,500 in federal money was subsidizing it. Then came a recall of nearly 44,000 units for fire risk. Then the tax credit expired, and Volkswagen's incentive spending on electric vehicles hit 36% of the average transaction price. More than a third of the car's value was being given away in discounts, and it still was not enough. Across the entire electric vehicle market, December 2025 saw record incentive spending at $10,473 per vehicle, roughly 18% of the average transaction price. But Volkswagen was spending double that rate and still could not clear inventory. The ID.4 is not just a slow seller. It is the poster child for what happens when a manufacturer bets on a segment shift that has not fully arrived, prices the product for a subsidy that no longer exists, and cannot pivot fast enough when the market moves. So, what does this all mean for you? Cox Automotive calls this a K-shaped market. Toyota and Lexus are living in one reality, turning inventory in 22 to 28 days. Stellantis, Nissan, and struggling EV brands are living in another reality, with inventory sitting for 130 to 527 days. The average new car now costs $50,326. The average monthly payment is $722 stretched over 70 months. That's almost 6 years of payments. Buyers are pickier than ever because the stakes are higher than ever. And here's the bottom line. A big discount on one of these 15 cars might look attractive. Tens of thousands of dollars off is hard to ignore. But there is a reason that money is on the table. Depreciation, reliability concerns, dying segments, and disappearing brands. The discount is the symptom. The underlying problem is what will cost you in the long run. If a deal looks too good to be true in this market, pull the data before you sign anything. Check the day's supply, check the resale projections, check the brand's financial health. That's what separates a smart buy from an expensive mistake. Hit subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown. We pull this data every month, and the market is shifting fast heading into 2026.